Hey guys, Sunday, maintenance day. Got to get some work done and get ready for the next bit of the work week. So, generally just going to be cleaning stuff up. But, that's dead. But, I did want to address something. And it's a video that I put out that got a lot of attention about, and I'm sure a lot of us have seen it. If you don't, you're in for a treat. Or if you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat. So, just kind of readdressing this. A lot of people didn't interpret the intent of the video the right way, which obviously I know I can't appeal to everybody or make everybody happy, but I just want to make it very clear that videos like these I try to make them educational, and the fact of the matter is, I don't care how much experience you have, how many years you've been at it in the woods, how many years you have behind a saw. Stuff happens. It just plain old does. Stuff happens. So when you cut the sheer amount of trees that we do out in the Pacific Northwest, stuff happens. You can't be perfect every single tree in your lifetime. Yes, I've been cut before. I am not ashamed to say that. I've cut myself. It's happened, and it was a learning experience. And same thing with this. It was a kickback. And a lot of people have had a lot of really good suggestions. Stuff that may or may not work for them and their industry-specific style of cutting timber. But out here in the Pacific Northwest, a lot of these suggestions don't really help much, because it's done just like your industry has specific methods. Our industry has specific methods that we use, and some of them may or may not be a little more high risk, or what some people may consider high risk. A lot of people was saying that I was using too long of a bar, which it was a 32-inch bar. Out here, 32-inch bar is really the smallest I run. So people were saying I was running too short of a bar, too long of a bar. People were telling me I should be back barring it, or excuse me, people were telling me that I should, or why am I using the saw upside down? So people are telling me I'm using the saw the wrong way, I'm using the saw upside down. My rakers were too low, but really what it all comes down to is that it was nearing the end of the day. I was tired. I didn't take the time to poke my head around just a little bit further. That way I could identify that funky little knob. Right there. You see, you can even... that I pointed out in the video. A lot of people, I must have made the video wrong, because a lot of people did not watch the video into the very end, and where I went through and explained everything. I'll play that now. Well, so everybody saw that, right? Got a little kick out and cut my boot, just about got down to my toes. It's close. But yeah, this little nubbin right here got me. Sticks out a bit further than everything else. You can see it real good right there. You can even see where it kicked on me right there. Right there. Very similar situation to when I cut my leg a couple years ago, I guess, a few years ago. Just like that, reaching around, it was on a cat-faced pine. Reaching around, and same thing, I knelt down real low to get a little bit of extra reach, and just like this, I didn't have quite enough. I stuck it in, and out she came and got me on the leg. But this time got me, well, didn't get me, just got my boot. Thank God.
Well, folks, it happens. Shit happens. It's at the end of the day. I'm tired. Decided I was going to try and reach for it instead of going on that other side, but that's what happens. Got her down. In lead. Good enough.
But so yeah, the issue there was I just did not identify that knob on the butt swell as I was working my way around. And you can really tell I couldn't identify it or I couldn't see it because I stuck my tip into that thing twice. And the second time I stuck my tip into that, I looked at it, or I took a better look and then wrapped all the way around where I knew I was going to be around any, because I knew I was starting to get somewhat close to my corner on that side. So, but at the time, for whatever reason, I just kept sticking my tip right into that same spot. Mainly because I couldn't see it. I didn't identify it. I didn't take the time to identify it before moving forward with my, say, felling plan. But as you can see, the rest of the tree went over fine, but that was a violent kick. And kickback happens. Like I said, I don't care how many years you've spent in the woods, it happens. Just like getting your saw pinched in a buck. I don't care how many years you have spent in the woods, it is going to happen. You're going to get your saw pinched. You're going to smash a saw. You're going to get kickback. You may or may not cut yourself, but I've cut myself before, right left leg, where everybody gets cut. Cut myself in the left leg, and then almost cut myself. I got that boot right there, pretty darn close, about as close as you can get without bleeding. So yes, the intent in that video, a lot of people get this mixed up, and I don't know why, but the intent in all my videos, these videos where I show the failures, because like I said, failures happen. Failures are there. Your mistakes are there for you to learn from. So you learn from your mistakes, and my intent behind posting these videos is to maybe someone can watch that, and instead of making the same mistake that I made, they pay a little better attention and they get to avoid that whole scenario instead of accidentally cutting their boot or getting a kickback and cutting their leg or worse. They can avoid that whole thing. They can just watch my video, see that was an issue. Hey, I probably should, even when I'm tired, I go look a little closer at that other side. Take your time a little bit to slow down. That way they can avoid it altogether. I want people to be able to learn through me if they have to. I think it's the biggest honor that I get to put this content out there so people can learn. They don't have to go through. I mean, granted, it all takes firsthand experience. Experience is king. Doing it is king. But there's little things that you can learn in the meantime that you don't have to spend years in the woods trying to figure out on your own, like I did. I had a very great couple old timers that broke me in and taught me a lot. I mean, they taught me a lot. It's what I base all of my knowledge off of. And the rest of it has just been years of me spending time in the woods screwing stuff up and learning from it. That is why I am at where I am today. I've spent years, literal years, screwing it up and learning from it every step of the way. So that is the point of some of these videos. Someone can see my screw up and learn from it instead of having to make that screw up themselves. So, anywho's, I'm going to get back to it. I'll play you a couple clips. That way we can have some fun at the end here.
Well, holy shit, boys. Almost cut my fucking toe off. You caught that on camera, that'll be a good one. Well, so everybody saw that, right? Got a little kick out and cut my boot, just about got down to my toes. It's close. But yeah, this little nubbin right here got me. Sticks out a bit further than everything else. You can see it real good right there. You can even see where it kicked on me right there. Right there. Very similar situation to when I cut my leg a couple years ago, I guess, a few years ago. Just like that, reaching around, it was on a cat-faced pine. Reaching around, and same thing, I knelt down real low to get a little bit of extra reach, and just like this, I didn't have quite enough. I stuck it in, and out she came and got me on the leg, but this time got me, well, didn't get me, just got my boot. Thank God. Well, folks, it happens. Shit happens. It's at the end of the day. I'm tired. Decided I was going to try and reach for it instead of going on that other side, but that's what happens. Got her down in lead. Good enough. Well, morning, folks. Out here on this salvage job. We've been doing a pretty decent job of stacking stuff in like cordwood here. Shovel operator was supposed to clean us out last night or yesterday. That way we could send this stuff out here. But unfortunately, it seems that hasn't happened. So we just got to keep flying them in lead here. It's unfortunate. There's a little stump cluster out there, that tree. I could hang it a little left, but it'd still break out in that belly, I bet. So we're just gonna keep flying her in lead and hoping for the best. Like I said, it's a salvage job, and those top logs really aren't worth much anyhow. So, I mean, so long as we get the nice 2 long out of the lower end, we're happy. So, got Jacob over there. He's been killing them. He's probably gonna work his way back up towards me, and we're just taking a thin little strip off to the bottom of this hillside here. But anywho's, I get a question all the time. And it kind of varies. Why use such a long bar? Why do you use such a small bar? Why are your stumps so high? All this kind of stuff. And a lot of people can't really take into the fact or take into consideration is we're kind of packed out here. And what we have is what we have. And we can't really just, I mean, you could if you want to pack everything you own out here, but don't really want to bring, you know, 6 extra chains and 2 longer bars and a shorter bar. And everybody kind of runs 32 inch, 32 to 36. You'll see guys out here with a 28, but really that 32 inch bar is kind of the sweet spot as to what everybody runs. So we've got a nice sized tree. Been looking at it. I don't know, it's where I'm gonna make my cut. It's probably about 4 foot on the butt, but you can see the terrain difficulties, and people will always see the stump from one angle and be like, oh my god, it's so high off the ground. And well, the camera doesn't really show too well the terrain too much. So I mean, granted, we've got some butt swell back here, so I'm going to be above that a little bit, which is maybe, I don't know, a foot and a half off the ground. They don't want that butt swell anyways, so I'm just going to cut above it. And obviously out here I'm damn near 3 feet off the ground, but it's on the downhill side of the slope. So anywho, let's get a cut in this thing. We're going to send her on out the way there. there you go. Tree on the ground. Took a log off. The rest the shovel can handle. That processor over there, I don't know if you can see him, but but you saw it out there when I was in that buck, and I finished off that buck. Kind of came down and pinched a little bit. It's nothing to worry about. Slows you down a little bit, but as you saw, just take a wedge. That's why you keep your axe and you wedge on you when you're processing logs. Stick that wedge in there, give it a whack, and it'll open enough to get your saw out. Finish your cut if you need to. If you're doing it right, you know, it happens, you get pinched. It don't, I don't care how many years you have out in the woods, you still get pinched, you know. So if you're doing it right, it'll kind of, worst case scenario, it'll pinch you when it's done, you know. Those logs have to move and go somewhere, and there's probably, what is this, you know, the width, it has 1/4 of an inch for all that to move and adjust and fall free. And you know, sometimes your bar's in there, and that's just too bad. So keep an axe and a wedge with you while you're processing. That way you don't have to get pinched and walk all the way back. Come find your axe, come find your wedge, and get yourself unstuck. You know, if you're busheling, that's it makes a lot of sense. Busheling is where you make your money by scale, essentially, by how much you put on the ground. So anything that slows you down, or anything that you can think of that's going to speed you up while you're encountering these issues, is only going to fill your pocket. So anyways, we're going to get back to her. Figured I had a little time to chat, and I'll catch you on the next one. Well, on to job number 2 for the day. Gonna be killing these oaks here. Trying to reforest this land so they harvest all the fir. They've harvested all the fir, and they're gonna take all the hardwood. They're gonna replant this just fir again. So, and go through and cut the maple, treat the stumps, and the oaks we just cut. So there's a bit in here to get. So here we go. Got Jacob out there taking care of the maples. He just fired up. Sounds like I better get to it. Well, that was exciting.